Hi everybody, this is Kyle Andrew here with Uncensored Pillow Talk, and we have a special guest today. Her cinematic rhetoric has inspired a legion of thirsty followers. Welcome to the show, Peaches Christ.
Thank you.
So can we get you a drink before we get started?
Yes, please. One extremely large glass of ice water, please.
And one without ice for me as well. So you're just getting back into town.
Yes, I've been gone for like 5 weeks, so I'm acclimating to being back in this time zone.
This time zone, so you were out of this time zone. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, I was in England for just over a month. I was living in London for, most of the time, and we did a few nights in Manchester, but mostly I was in London doing a show called Drag Becomes Her. We did 22 shows.
That's quite a bit in one month's time.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Wow, lovely.
Very well done. Thank you. It's good to lubricate the throat as you keep talking. So you were there doing a show, and you guys do shows here in the city as well. For those of you who may not be as familiar with Peaches, Peaches is the master creator of drag here in San Francisco. Has created some of the most breathtaking and funny shows on the stages in San Francisco.
Oh, thank you.
Peaches has also worked with a lot of the RuPaul's Drag Race queens, writing and producing and starring in a lot of these shows. And with all of these queens that are now as a part of the mainstream, as being someone who's been in drag for even time before Drag Race.
The land before time. That's when I started drag, yeah.
Where do you think your career would have gone had it not been for Drag Race? Because you already have a successful show, maybe taken a different direction.
Well, I actually think, Drag Race has been wonderful and really helped drag become popular. But even before Drag Race, I had moved my shows from the Bridge Theater in San Francisco, which was a 400-seat theater, to the Castro Theater, which is a 1,400-seat theater, which seemed really crazy at the time. But,
big change.
We did that before Drag Race, and, Heclina and I, we did Mommy Queerest there, we did Purple Rain, we did... I was doing shows with people who had marquee value. We did Purple Rain with Apollonia. We did a Pam Grier tribute. So I think Drag Race coming along has been wonderful. But, I was already doing big shows with, Heclina, Coco Peru, Varla Jean Merman, Jackie Beat.
The biggest people in the industry.
And so Drag Race has really helped. It just was the new way for a drag queen to achieve marquee value. So I think I'd probably be doing the same thing if Drag Race hadn't come along. Because it's really what I'm doing now is actually what I was doing then.
Do you watch the show?
I do, yeah, I do. I'm a fan. Part of what I do when I have a Drag Race girl or a Coco Peru is I write the shows for their cult as much as the cult movie audience. So I do cult movie parodies, and we celebrate the movie for fans that love that movie. But then I also write the shows for the fans of the queens in the show. So, Coco has a large following on YouTube because she does a lot of videos.
She's so hilarious.
Right.
I've seen her a couple of times, both in stand-up comedy and in your shows. She really has a lot to give there. I remember seeing Adam's Apple, Family Values, or some combination thereof, and there was another show. I saw the Little Edie, Grey Gardens. Grey Gardens was also another one that I saw early on.
Yeah.
So good. All of these shows are so good.
Oh, thank you.
And, as someone who's been related to Drag Race, I'll say in creating your own cult legion of loyal followers, would you ever consider being a judge on Drag Race?
Sure. they've never had a drag queen judge, so, which, of course, some of us queens that people have been kind enough to call legends wish they would ask us on, to sort of judge other queens. I think that'd be really wonderful. But it's never happened. It's Ru and the panel of judges are never other drag queens.
So I've seen pictures of you and a special man in your life online. What can you tell us about him?
Well, I'm assuming you're talking about my partner, Nihat. He's, my significant other. And yeah, when we first got together, I remember asking him, over 7 years ago now, we've been together that long, do you want to be introduced to the world of Peaches Christ, or would you rather stay, more private? And I think at the time he didn't realize, how public it could be. So he said, "Oh, I'm fine. It's fine." And so I started sharing pictures of us out and about here and there. And now he actually gets recognized and stuff because of my social media following.
He's his own celebrity.
I guess so. Yeah. Recently we were somewhere where it was the two of us, and someone came over to a table and freaked out because they saw Nihat, and they said, "Oh my God, I know who you are." And I was sitting right next to him, and they were like, "You're Peaches Christ's boyfriend, and I go to your restaurant, and this and that." And I was sitting there, and then finally she realized I was there. Yeah.
I guess it's part of the magic of drag. You can put it on and you can take it off.
Yeah, they don't expect to see me looking like a schlub. I'm realizing today, to wear shorts and a t-shirt to an interview.
I've been fresh from the gym.
But I want to say to the audience watching at home, it is the hottest day in San Francisco right now. It's 94 degrees. If I'm glistening, it's not glamour. It's actual hog sweat. Yeah.
Hog sweat. You gotta bottle that, make into a perfume.
Yeah.
Honestly, thank you, Gerardo, for giving us this water.
Yes,
it really helps.
Well, I'm just gonna throw it in my face.
Best. We can get that in slow motion, I'm pretty sure.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll take some time to take a look at your social media, where we are going to critically judge you and what you put online.
I do not curate at all. I'm realizing that it's a thing. You're supposed to curate your Instagram. I literally just post whatever I feel like. I don't think about it.
Which is a much healthier place to be, and we know that I love following it. So you have a picture here with two lovely ladies in different colored hair.
Yes, that's.
You guys look like family.
We are family. I mean, I honestly consider these two people to be family of mine. There's that concept of chosen family, and I think with drag queens especially, when you really bond with people and you spend a lot of time together, you become family. And so Jinx is, I played her mother in many, many, many shows for many years, and then at some point she asked me to be her drag mother, and I said yes, of course, and of course Ben is her sister, and so Jinx and Ben. Well, Ben does not claim me as a mother, which is fine. Jinx and Ben, I do think of maybe not as children, but as family for sure. Yeah.
We have you here as almost as someone else, someone who we recognize a little bit, who we might also recognize.
Yeah, that's me impersonating Varla Jean Merman. Varla Jean Merman is she probably doesn't like it that I say this, but I grew up as a younger queen looking up to her,
Oh.
She's a little bit older, but not actually that much older. But she was so successful.
She doesn't look it.
Well, she just turned 50. And, she was so successable so early on, she was really young when she had a lot of success. It's the same thing with Coco Peru. And so they were just idols of mine who I grew up in the drag world just worshiping. And that picture is backstage at a show called The Whining that she and I wrote together.
Can you tell us about one of the more challenging times in your career?
Well, just one of them? There's lots of them. Let's think.
I have nowhere else to be tonight. But I think that our producer wants to keep the show.
Yes, of course.
Yeah.
There was a time when I didn't think of doing drag as a career. I really moved to San Francisco thinking I wanted to pursue underground filmmaking, and drag was a hobby. Back then there were very few drag queens who were pursuing drag as a career because it just wasn't a reality for most of us. So drag was really a hobby for me, and it was really something that I just had fun doing with my friends. And I would say that as I became more successful doing Peaches and creating this show, Midnight Mass, part of the challenge was actually making the decision to commit to doing it as a job. I remember having a lot of not shame, but conflict around something that for me was such a purely creative part of my life. And shifting gears and having to look at it as something that might pay my rent. That was actually challenging for me. And part of that time in my life was when I stopped drinking and got sober. And, it was a decision for me to kind of, okay, if I'm going to do this, if I'm really going to do this, I need to kind of like clean up some of this other stuff. So I removed booze from the world of Peaches, which made a big difference.
So tell us, if someone wants to get in contact with you, come and see your shows, what's the best way to get in contact with you?
Well, I'm on all the social media things, so Instagram, The Peaches Christ, Facebook, it's Peaches Christ, peacheschrist.com is the website. So you can reach me at any of those.
And Gerardo, why don't you come on set? We want you on set for a quick moment.
Woohoo!
Woo! And then you have, I just got a little distracted. I forgot what I was going to say. You have a couple of shows coming up as well.
I do, yes. Well, the next big show at the Castro Theater for me is Bring It On, Queen, which is a Bring It On parody.
Favorite movie!
Oh, good, yeah. I'm really excited. It's Monet Exchange and Bob the Drag Queen as the rival cheer captains. Monet's from the suburban rich kid community, and her team is yes, well, yeah, and she's the captain of the Sponges, and then Bob is from East Compton and the captain of the Purses, not the Clovers, the Purses. And so, and I really wanted to work with the two of them together because they actually are drag sisters in real life, and they have a show called Sibling Rivalry, a podcast that is very successful. So, that was one of those shows where it was like, how fun would it be to see those two, pit against each other?
I think we're all really excited to see that combo up on the stage. Thank you so much for being on the show. Thank you, Gerardo, for joining us here and keeping just everything that you do so great. We're here at Uncensored Pillow Talk. We'll be here every week, so stay tuned for more.
Bye
guys.